Howdy y'all, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well out there so far. Let's never forget those lives that were lost 83 years ago at Pearl Harbor. This day will always live in infamy, quoting President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this week in weather history from December 7th all the way into the 15th. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but y'all can pause the video anytime to read this if you want to. I'll put a link to this in the description down below so you can check it out. But basically, icy conditions happened in 1992 on this day in weather history, caused 2 injuries and some deaths in Washington. Mainly just winter storms, high winds, and even some rock slides as well. But again, like I said earlier, I'll put a link in this description down below so you can check it out as well. But the most notable event in weather history here recently has been the December 10th and 11th, 2021 Mayfield tornado outbreak. Struck Mayfield and an EF3 that trekked through western Tennessee. We can see the track of it here, of course, and I'll zoom in here so you can see this. But we can see the timeline of the Mayfield tornado. You can see 57 deaths, 508 to 533 injuries, 190 mile an hour peak winds with an EF4. There has been some arguments that should have been an EF5, but regardless of strength, it caused a lot of problems, of course. That's this week in the most notable weather event in weather history. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what we could expect for the next couple of weeks. Got to take a look at the troughs and ridges. Troughs are associated with the bad weather, that's in the blue. Ridges are typically associated with the good weather, and that's in the reddish orange. As we push this forward, we can see we're in a little bit of a ridge for now, but it's looking like on the 11th we could be coming in on another system. Y'all may have been seeing this on X and Facebook. I've been posting that one model is showing snow over in the Ohio Valley, then it don't show it, and then it shows it again, and then it don't show it. We'll take a look at that as well, but regardless, it's looking like we could remain in some chilly conditions and some windy conditions as well as some lake effect snow potentially. After we move past the 11th, it's looking like a major ridge is going to take hold, which could result in some dry and relatively warm conditions for this time of year. And then the end of the month, right around Christmas time, is looking like we could be coming back into that chilly pattern once again. Let's go ahead and take a look at our precipitation pattern for the next couple of weeks. Since we already know we've been getting in on some crazy lake effect snow over here in the Great Lakes in Michigan. It's looking like after we move past the lake effect snowstorms, it's looking like some major flooding is going to be going on down here in the deep south, as a slight risk has been issued for about a couple inches. Locally higher amounts possible is going to be likely. So be aware of this if you live in flood-prone area. See a foot of roadway, of course. Turn around and do not drown. Use your common sense, of course. Move into the 11th. This is when that system is going to roll through. Could be some icing over here in the Ohio Valley, potentially. Just depends on the temperatures. Could come in on some severe weather in the southeast over here by South Carolina and Georgia. Now, currently, as I'm recording this video, there hasn't been any severe weather risk issued, but I will be posting that on X and Facebook if this does change, and I'm sure it will. Take a look at the temperatures. We can see that it's going to be pretty chilly, so there could be some icing over here in the Ohio Valley on Tuesday. Could be some school closures because we can see the warm air coming to the north, cold air coming to the south. Could result in some icing or some snow potentially. Just depends how cold it gets. That's why some models have been indicating some snow over the Ohio Valley right around the 11th. But again, I'll keep y'all posted, of course. What I think will happen is I think we'll just get in on rain. I don't think it'll be snow, but like I said earlier, subject to change. And once we move past that, it's looking like it's going to head up into the northeast and cause some heavy snowfall up in the higher elevations from the Smokies up into New York. And it's looking like a major snowstorm could be likely as we head into next weekend up there, and more lake effect snowfall going on over here in the Great Lakes. Northwest, the usual rain and snow going on. Good for the ski resorts, by the way. If you have any near you, get out there and enjoy those. And it's looking like it's going to start to dry out as we head into right around the 14th. And really stay that way for quite some time. Could be coming in on some on and off showers as we head into the end of the month. Drying out again. More severe weather as we head past the first day of winter down there by Louisiana. But really, it's looking to be relatively dry, much lower 48 as we head into the end of the month, though. Although the Northwest is going to be coming in on the typical rain and snow that y'all see this time of year, which is, like I said earlier, good for those ski resorts. Now, as we take a look at the precipitation outlook for the next couple of weeks, from the 12th and the 16th, we can see below average precipitation, surprisingly, from the Panhandle of Florida all the way up into the Northeast. Although y'all gonna be coming in on a system that's gonna bring some heavy snow and heavy rain, but it's looking like the Climate Prediction Center is in a disagreement with that. Start to dry out, as well as down here by the Southwest. But really, much of the country is looking to be above to near normal as far as precip goes. Next 8 to 14 days is looking to be much of the same story, although the models were showing a little bit of a drying pattern as we head into the end of the month, but I will monitor that, of course. But it's looking like the short term could be relatively soggy amongst much of the country, which is actually good for those drought conditions. Much of the lower 48 is in some sort of drought-like conditions. That's some good news, at least. As we take a look at the precipitation hazards, we can see there's a slight risk for heavy rainfall down here from southwestern Indiana down into Texas. There's already been a slight risk for heavy rainfall issue down here by Louisiana, by the way. I mentioned that earlier. Of course, the West Coast, there's a slight risk as well. You're going to be coming in on your typical atmospheric river / rain and snow, just messy systems over and over and over again. As far as snowfall goes, of course, there's going to be some snowfall over here in the upper Midwest from the 15th and the 17th. Mountain West, of course, your typical snowfall you see this time of year. We take a look at the winds. It's looking like the Mountain West is going to be windy, snowy, and soggy. It's looking like it could be coming in on yet another atmospheric river event. So be aware of that. Anything changes, I'll be letting y'all know, of course. Now, here's a sneak peek at the Christmas forecast, whether or not you're going to be getting in on a white Christmas or not. Now, this is way too out into the future. It's 444 hours out. Keep this in mind. This is the CFS model, probably one of the most unreliable models you can go with, but it's fun to look at, and I'll show it to you. It's looking like the Northwest is going to be soggy and snowy. It's pretty typical. And I did post on X and Facebook the stats on likelihood of seeing a white Christmas, and the Mountain West has the highest probability of seeing a white Christmas. The Midwest is less likely, of course. Always sucks. So yeah, it's looking like much of the country's not going to be seeing a white Christmas this year, unfortunately. But of course, this is subject to change, and I will have an official white Christmas outlook up. Probably not this coming week, but maybe next week. But I'll let y'all know when we get closer, of course. I will keep on posting this on X and Facebook, so make sure you go follow those pages. I would greatly appreciate that, y'all. So now that we cover the precipitation for the next couple weeks, as it's looking like it's going to be soggy in the short term and a little bit dry in the long term, and take a look at the temperatures, as it has been very, very, very chilly here lately. Probably one of the coldest Decembers on record, at least compared to last year. Last year was relatively warm. It's looking like we could be warming up here as we head into Sunday. 70-degree temperature stretching as far north as Nebraska. Warm on Monday as well. And this is probably one of the reasons why there's some severe weather in the southeast potentially. And there's going to be a lot of precipitation because you have a lot of moisture to deal with. But don't get used to these warm temperatures just yet if you live down there in the deep south and southeast, because it's looking like a cold front's going to roll through, drop those temperatures down drastically yet again. Could come in on some falling iguanas as we head into hump day. And we're going to stay in this cold pattern and then come back into a little bit of a warm up and back and forth temperatures down here in the south. But it's looking like that cold air is going to start to win out as we head into the end of the month, though, unfortunately. But that's pretty typical for this time of year. As we take a look at the temperature outlook for the next 6 to 10 days, we can see below average temperatures down here in the southeast, while the rest of the country is going to be above average. Next 8 to 14 days as we head into the end of the month is looking to be well above average, as we're going to start to warm up here at the end of the month. So that chill in the air ain't going to be sticking around, y'all. It's going to be chilly, but a little bit warmer than what it has been. So that's some good news. And this could result in some severe weather, as we are in our what we call second severe weather season. So prepare for that if you live down here in the southeast and part of the deep south as well. Of course, December 11th, I'll be keeping an eye on that system. We could be coming in on some icing over here or just heavy rainfall, just depends. But again, I know I'm rambling and I know I'm repeating myself, but I'll be keeping y'all posted, of course, on there. Now, shifting gears here to something fun. Here's some lesser known Christmas facts that you might not even know. Did you know there is a tradition that's called the KFC Christmas tradition in Japan? In Japan, only 1% of the population is Christian. Eating KFC on Christmas Eve has become a national tradition. This unusual custom started due to a successful marketing campaign in 1974, and now millions of Japanese families order KFC every single Christmas. That's pretty interesting. Number 2, Christmas pickle. There's a quirky tradition in some parts of the United States, although it's often thought to be of German descent, German origin, but this claim is largely disputed by historians, where a pickle ornament is hidden on the tree, and the first child to find it on Christmas morning gets a special gift or good luck for the year. Christmas Island and crabs. Christmas Island is located in the Indian Ocean, gets its name not just from its discovery on Christmas Day, but also the annual crab migration that starts in October, with crabs moving towards the sea to lay eggs around December, which is in line with Christmas time. Number 4, Norway's Yule Goat. In Gavel, Sweden, since 1966, a giant straw goat is erected every year as part of the Christmas celebration. However, it has become a notorious tradition for the goat to be destroyed either by arson or other mischievous means before the end of the holiday season. Number 5, the three wise men's names. I'm sure y'all can't name all their names. Melchior, Gasper, and Balthazar. Hopefully, I'm not butchering those names. Their names aren't actually mentioned in biblical texts, but come from later traditions. Number 6, the world's tallest Christmas tree. 1950, the national Christmas tree in DC was a live Douglas fir from the Pacific Northwest, measured at 67 feet. However, in 54, a much taller tree was erected in Seattle, a 110-foot tall Douglas fir, but the record might go to the one in Oklahoma, surprisingly, in 1988, which was 144 feet tall. That's pretty interesting. Number 7, the real St. Nicholas. St. Nicholas is inspiration of Santa Claus, known for his generosity, and famous story involves him throwing bags of gold through windows of poor families, landing in stockings hung by the fire to dry, which is where the tradition of hanging stockings came from. However, what's less known is that St. Nicholas was also the patron saint of prostitutes, repentant thieves, and brewers in medieval Europe. Number 8, Christmas truce of 1914. During World War I on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, an unofficial ceasefire took place along parts of the Western Front. Soldiers from both sides, particularly German and British, sang Christmas carols, enhanced gifts like cigarettes, and even played football in no man's land. Number 9, we're almost done. The origin Santa Claus was actually green before the now iconic red suit, which was popularized by Coca-Cola ads in the 1930s. Illustrations from Victorian times often portray Santa Claus in green, reflecting the earlier folklore where he wore clothes in various colors, including green. That's fascinating. And the last one here, Christmas in space. The first Christmas in space was celebrated aboard Apollo in 1968. Astronauts Frank Orman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders circled the moon in their famous Earthrise photo, and circled the moon, their famous Earthrise photo, and reading from the book Genesis were broadcast to the world on Christmas Eve. So those are the 10 lesser known facts that you most likely didn't know about Christmas time. So I hope y'all enjoyed today's forecast. If you did, make sure you hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. Leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because at Hero Williams Weather, we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. I also have a Rumble channel if you want to check that out. It's WilliamsWX98. I have 10 followers on there. If you want to go check that out, I greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow that channel as well. So to sum this video up, basically in the short term, it's looking like it could be coming into a soggy pattern, and some severe weather could occur in the southeast as well, so be aware of that as we are in our second severe weather season. As far as the chill in the air goes, it's looking like that will go away here in the short term, as it's looking like warm air is going to start to return. It's still going to be chilly, but not as chilly as it has been. Just prepare for that. Again, appreciate y'all for watching. Have a great day, and until next time, never stop forecasting.